Many men are told to simply move on if a woman shows no interest or to work harder at proving themselves. Yet the truth is a bit more complex. Women don't miss men because they need them. They miss them because these men manage to create an impactful emotional presence that resonates even in their absence. This discussion isn't about shallow tactics or superficial pickup lines. It delves into the intricate psychology of attraction and how you can subtly change your approach so that a woman who may have initially overlooked you finds herself thinking about you in unexpected moments. Sounds far-fetched? It's not. Indifference is rarely an unchangeable state. It's usually just a reaction, and understanding this gives you the ability to alter how someone perceives you entirely. Now, forget the notion that stirring up interest involves chasing, pleading, or excessively trying to prove yourself. Ironically, those efforts tend to have the opposite effect, eroding attraction rather than building it. Women value men who exude confidence and independence over those who seem desperate for validation. The crucial shift is about becoming memorable and intriguing, not simply available. This guide gradually unpacks strategies to trigger curiosity, respect, and even desire from someone who wasn't initially receptive. By understanding psychological dynamics and shifting your actions, you'll soon see that creating emotional longing isn't about being lucky, it's about moving differently in the social patterns of attraction. First, let's address a common misconception around chasing. Many men think the effort of pursuing a woman signals their dedication and value. Unfortunately, within female psychology, this often backfires. Why? Because relentless pursuit alters the dynamic. It flips the power balance and positions her as the prize, while you become framed as seeking approval. When this happens, instead of being perceived as desirable, you risk being seen as overly eager, which can diminish your appeal. Consider this analogy. If something is easily accessible, like free food on demand, you won't crave it. If that food is taken away all of a sudden, your perspective shifts instantly. You notice its absence. Similarly, bombarding someone with attention doesn't allow the curiosity or longing that breeds attraction to grow. It simply makes you too common and predictable. Often, less is more. Here's a pivotal truth. Chasing doesn't just push her away, it inadvertently communicates insecurity. When you overly pursue someone, you're essentially saying that you don't see yourself as valuable enough to stand firm. Women tend to be attracted to men who hold their worth confidently, those who don't feel the need to plead for attention or validation. So if you want a woman to miss you, even if she wasn't initially invested, the first key step is straightforward. Stop chasing. Step back and create space for her to perceive your lack of presence. Silence often speaks louder than words. For example, imagine texting her multiple times a day and receiving brief responses, or worse, dry replies. Instead of intensifying your efforts to gain her attention, try stepping back entirely for 2 or 3 days. What will likely happen? She might start wondering about your sudden quietness, checking your social media, or even initiating contact herself. By deliberately withdrawing your attention, you make room for curiosity to take root. The second principle revolves around understanding that silence carries significant emotional weight. Many men believe constant communication, sending texts throughout the day or peppering evenings with goodnight wishes, is the best way to earn connection. In reality, though, this kind of approach often has diminishing returns. Overexposure can lead to undervaluation. Silence introduces an element of mystery and tension that builds curiosity within her mind. This curiosity initiates questions like, why isn't he reaching out? Or what is he doing? Such thoughts plant the seeds of longing. It's human nature to want what feels out of reach or elusive. Think of attention as a form of currency. If you spend all of it lavishly and constantly with no limitation or intent, it quickly loses its perceived value. Practice restraint. Reserve your energy and interactions selectively. That scarcity builds intrigue in her eyes. However, remember, this isn't about ignoring someone outright or manipulating emotions immaturely. It's about finding balance between availability and allure. In the upcoming steps, we'll dive deeper into actionable techniques to make yourself stand out and remain unforgettable, not just by stepping back, but also by cultivating qualities that maintain genuine connection while reinforcing boundaries. Building healthy relationships often requires balancing your own sense of self with the dynamics of mutual interest and respect. When it comes to attracting someone, particularly in the context of men pursuing women, projecting confidence, independence, and self-assuredness can make a profound difference. One of the key aspects involves not being overly reliant on constant communication. For instance, a man who doesn't feel compelled to endlessly check in via messages demonstrates that his life doesn't revolve around someone else's responses. That restraint signals emotional strength, self-respect, and independence, qualities that tend to draw people closer naturally. Take a scenario where the woman you've been messaging daily starts replying less or delays her responses. Instead of reacting with panic or over-texting, pulling back and allowing some space creates intrigue. With time, she might notice your absence, anticipate hearing from you, and even initiate contact. This silence often communicates more powerfully than endless paragraphs. Another critical mistake many men make is being too available. Canceling plans with friends, dropping everything for her calls or texts, and constantly proving your availability may seem like effort. However, this behavior often makes you predictable, uninspiring, and ironically, forgettable. When someone has easy access to you at any time, there's no sense of challenge or excitement. It's human nature to value what requires effort or seems scarce. Think back to moments in your own life where something difficult to attain felt more rewarding. Whether it was a dream job or a rare opportunity, the difficulty of achieving it always heightened its worth. The same principle applies in relationships. Women are drawn to men who maintain their own priorities and occasionally say, "I can't, I'm busy," instead of always seeking approval. Creating an air of mystery can be equally impactful. While honesty is undoubtedly important in relationships overall, oversharing or revealing too much at the start can diminish attraction. Many men assume that by putting all of their thoughts, feelings, and intentions on the table early on, they're fostering connection. In reality, they're stripping away the mystery that sparks curiosity and emotional engagement. Suspense and imagination are powerful tools for intrigue. When you leave room for her to wonder about your thoughts and choices, she'll naturally become more invested. Like a compelling book or movie that builds anticipation through the unknown, maintaining some level of mystery keeps interest alive. Over-explaining everything from the beginning removes the chase, the emotional thrill of discovering layers of someone's personality over time. Moreover, avoid competing for her attention with others because doing so undermines the very appeal you aim to convey. Rushing to comment on her every social media post or striving to outshine other people in her orbit often appears insecure rather than attractive. True confidence isn't about outperforming others, but knowing your inherent value without validation from external sources. If you find yourself vying for her attention, it's worth reassessing, not just how she perceives you, but whether this dynamic aligns with your own sense of self-worth. Ultimately, attractive individuals, men and women alike, stand out not because they chase approval, but because they prioritize their own ambitions, passions, and independence. The key lies in creating balance, respecting her space, while ensuring your presence leaves a lasting impression through thoughtful actions, restrained communication, and an unwavering display of self-respect. Sometimes what isn't said or done has far greater impact than pursuing constant validation. Why? Because truly confident men don't compete, they attract. A man who knows his worth isn't concerned with who else might be texting her, looking at her, or trying to capture her attention. He understands that his value speaks for itself, and if she fails to recognize it, that's her loss. This is the wake-up call most guys need. Stop elevating women onto unattainable pedestals and acting as though their attention is some prize to be fought over. That desperation only signals weakness, and weakness never earns respect. Here's the reality. Chasing and competing will often drive her further away, as her focus gravitates toward the man who exudes self-assurance instead of desperation. Women are naturally drawn to men who embody confidence and create demand, not those who beg for acknowledgement. As soon as you shift your mindset and start living like you are the prize, everything changes. She'll begin to realize your time, attention, and energy aren't just freely given. They're valuable, and suddenly they'll matter more to her. That's why the advice is simple. Wake up. If you're still fighting for a woman's attention, what you're really doing is subconsciously telling her you consider yourself less deserving than she is. Flip that narrative. You set the standard. You are the individual she should be striving to win over. And for those still struggling to grasp the bigger picture, here's another truth. Confidence is far more intoxicating than love. It's hard for many men to accept this fact. Women are drawn to confidence before anything else. Showering her with affection, writing heartfelt messages, or going out of your way to show how much you care, none of that has the impact you want if it isn't backed by true self-belief. Because love without confidence comes across as insecurity or dependence, neither of which is attractive. Confidence is captivating because it communicates strength, resilience, and trust in oneself. But this isn't about arrogance or an inflated ego. True confidence is quiet, understated, showing itself in how a man carries himself, speaks his mind, and approaches life without constantly seeking validation. At some point in life, you've likely seen a woman choose a man who wasn't the nicest looking or even that charming on the surface, but he had unwavering self-belief. That's no accident. Confidence signals stability and leadership, making it incredibly compelling. Love can certainly warm her heart, but confidence stirs desire. It stays on her mind long after you're gone. It's rooted in action, not just nice words, deciding with conviction, standing firm in your beliefs instead of compromising to appease her, and having the strength to walk away if your worth isn't appreciated. That kind of presence doesn't just make someone like you, it makes them think of you long after you're gone. So here's the wake-up call. Love alone won't make her miss you. Love without confidence breeds dependence, and dependence repels. Confidence is magnetic. It lingers in her mind, keeps her awake thinking about you, and fuels a desire she struggles to ignore. And one more truth that might sting a little: people value what they fear losing. Many men fail here by making themselves a permanent fixture in a woman's life long before she's earned such investment. If everything about your attention is guaranteed, she has no reason to appreciate it, no reason to chase you or even truly miss you. But when you step back and she senses your focus shifting elsewhere, that fear kicks in. Is he moving on? Has somebody else earned his interest? Did I miss my chance? Those questions spark desire like nothing else does. This isn't about manipulation, though. It's about respecting yourself enough not to revolve your world around someone who hasn't reciprocated that value. Ensure she understands that your presence isn't something she'll indefinitely have unless she appreciates it. If she takes it for granted, someone else will value it instead. Show authenticity when pulling back. Don't play games. Let silence remind her of your worth. The final lesson is simple. Don't be afraid to let her feel your absence occasionally. People don't miss what they know they'll always have at their disposal. They miss what feels like it's slipping away. Let her face the possibility of losing someone she may never have again, and in doing so, you send the strongest message possible about your self-worth. Yes, it might sting to hear, but truth be told, women rarely miss the stereotypical nice guy.
They remember the man whose confidence left an indelible mark on their lives, the man they can't forget because they know someone like him doesn't come around twice. They miss the man who has the strength to walk away and let her feel his absence. That's the harsh truth most men don't want to hear. You can be the sweetest, most loving guy in the world, but if you don't know how to create space, she won't value you. She'll forget you. And the man who respects himself enough not to beg, that's the man she ends up chasing. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever been in a situation where you chased too hard, or maybe where silence actually pulled her back to you? Drop your story in the comments. I'll be checking them personally, and I'd love to connect with you, give you feedback, and maybe even guide you through your own situation. Remember, this channel isn't just about me talking. It's about building a community of men who finally understand female psychology and use it to win respect, not lose it. And before we wrap up, let me leave you with this. In the next video, we'll talk about something very important: why giving a woman your full loyalty too soon might be the very reason she pulls away. So click on that subscribe button and also hit the notification bell so you would be the first to know when I release the next video. I'll see you then.